Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a blessed evening. Just want to say guys, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly realms. You always got to be aware that the devil creeps around like a roaring lion looking who to devour. You've always got to be aware of this. He draws you in, does his dirty work, then runs away laughing. Do you know what I mean? That's what he does. That's what my friend said to me, and he's right. My friend's right. That's what he does. He might make it seem harmless, like a joke, or do you know what I mean? A joke, or like a harmless joke, or a harmless conversation. What seems like harmless in the moment, say you're enjoying it, or you get a bit carried away. You're going off emotion. That's when it seems harmless, but really it's a trap. Do you know what I mean? The devil tries to lead you away with your emotions and lead you away with your feelings, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's why the Bible says you should be sober-minded. Do you know what I mean? Always be sober-minded. Think before you speak. Think before you act. Especially think before you act. Do you know what I mean? Be wise. Do you know what I mean? Or better to be safe than sorry. Like the saying goes, better to be safe than sorry. It's 100% true. Do you know what I mean? Err on the side of caution. Don't have a spirit of fear, because you can trust in God. God's merciful, but at the same time, life's very tricky. And the devil creeps around like a roaring lion looking who to devour. So you have to be careful, do you know what I mean? You can trust in God to a point. Well, you can trust in God. God's in control. He does everything for your good, even the painful stuff. But if you can avoid the painful stuff while being careful, then why not? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. It makes sense. Learn from other people's mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Don't make them yourself. Learn from other people's mistakes. We all make some mistakes. We've all been there. Do you know what I mean? Where we've suffered, where we've gone through pain because we made a mistake. Everyone's been there at some point in their life, obviously. But you have to learn from those mistakes. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard sometimes because people don't know the Bible. People don't know like what God says about everything. So they go their own way and they do things their own way by their own wisdom, kind of thing. But I believe there's written laws that are overseeing creation, and not everyone believes this, but I do. And those laws oversee all creation. Do you know what I mean? The truth, whatever the truth is, it oversees all creation, and there's rules and there's regs in that. Do you know what I mean? There's wisdom, there's decrees and laws, and it's law basically. Do you know what I mean? There's God's law, and that's what oversees all creation. So may not seem like that sometimes by some of the injustice that goes on in the world and some of the evilness that happens and stuff. But God's bigger than all of that, I believe, and He's always in control. Do you know what I mean? He's always in control. So yeah, that's all I want to say, guys. We're battling not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly realms. Always be aware of that. Like when, for example, say if someone says something that you don't like, or reacts in a way that you don't like, and you think about reacting from anger, just think you might not be talking to a person, you might be talking to a principality. Angels have charge over us. Do you know what I mean? Angels have charge over us. The good angels and the bad angels, I believe. So don't be quick to lose your temper, because you could be being wound up by a bad angel. Do you know what I mean? It's or by a fallen angel, do you know what I mean? And they've got charge over us. The good angels have got charge over us ultimately, but so have the bad. Do you know what I mean? They're in control. Like the spiritual forces of wicked, battle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly realms. That tells you everything. Do you know what I mean? The battle is not ours. The only way you can win it is by putting it in God's hands and being careful and letting the angels fight for you when they need to. But you have to be careful. Do you know what I mean? You have to be wise, do you know what I mean? Best to play on the safe side of caution. Better to be safe than sorry, do you know what I mean? It's one of them. In a lot of ways, anyway. Don't have a spirit of fear, like, do you know what I mean? Have a spirit of power and the same mind. That's what God says we should have. But at the same time, you've got to be wise, do you know what I mean? Because we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly realms, and the devil creeps around like a roaring lion looking who to devour. I'm not saying this to fearmonger, but you have to be aware of this. This is what God writ, do you know what I mean? This is how it is. So yeah, I hope this word helps people, guys. You can be confident in God, guys, but you have to be careful as well and wise and wary, do you know what I mean? You have to be, not wary, but you have to be wise and careful, sober-minded, do you know what I mean? But I hope this word helps someone. I hope it gets to the right people. I hope it blesses someone in some way, so that's all I want to say. So take care, guys. God bless. Much love, and I'll be back soon. Take care, guys. Love you all. Thank you. Bye. Bye.